Good morning in some places. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for today's session, Escape Velocity session, Building Momentum for 2021. I want to talk about what do you need to do to prepare. HC Bonham, this is who we are, a performance consulting company. We are African and proudly so. We have worked in 7 African countries and the USA. That's where we have customers that we're working with. Our values are pretty simple. We believe that when you're in alignment, it's easy to focus on priorities, and with integrity, you do what you commit to and always review and course correct to create accountability. And you know what? If it's not fun, why are you doing it? We believe learning is fun. What we do in these 6 primary areas, and I'm working with you to understand performance in your organization and how you might improve that by enabling everybody to understand performance in its simplest form. We do training programs like this one. We do have a team effectiveness practice, which is pretty global and quite interesting, where we work with teams to understand what does it take working together to be effective. We spend a bit of time coaching executives one-on-one. We have our informing platform where we share information. For now it's called the Trailblazer, which is our newsletter. Hopefully you'll be getting one, and maybe you should be receiving one now. Every month we share our perspectives. And we, of course, also facilitate conferences and retreats, the intellectual part to support that.
Escape velocity is a term that is taken from exploration. What does it mean? Escape velocity is the actual velocity that is required for any object that wants to leave Earth's atmosphere to be able to break through the atmosphere and leave Earth's atmosphere without it being impacted by Earth's gravitational pull. So there's a certain momentum you have to have reached before you can break out of Earth's gravitational pull, and then you can find your way to wherever it is you want to go, whether you're going to the moon or going to Mars or whatever the case might be. So that's what escape velocity means. And now, what does it mean for us as we're thinking about building momentum for 2020? You've been part of this year already. You know what has happened in the year. You know all the forces that have sort of piled up in the year, from the pandemic to what's happening with travel restrictions. And those are all things that you can consider to be gravitational pulls that are really holding us back, or that have held us back in 2020. So now as we look towards 2021, how do we build sufficient momentum that will get us to sort of factor in all of these forces, put them into our equation as we're thinking about our plans for 2021, such that we minimize the downside and we can maximize the upsides? We're prepared. We're more prepared than we were coming into 2020. We're more prepared going into 2021 to address some of these forces and ensure that we break through really into what we want to accomplish in 2021. 3 things that we want to accomplish in this program are on the screen. First of all, our objective, our mission, in terms of mission control, our mission is 1. We really want to help you focus on your top 3 areas, your top 3 focus areas for 2021. What should you be focusing your attention on, your energy on in 2021, right? Again, we're going with the Girl Scout or Boy Scout motto, be prepared. Second objective is, how do we help you set your top 3 to 5 goals for 2021? And the third is, how do we help you create success strategies?
So here's what we would like you to do. Please reflect on this year that's passed, and we'd like you to identify, write in your notebook quickly, what were your accomplishments in 2020? I'd like you to identify 1 key lesson. What is that 1 key lesson you're taking away from 2020? If you look at your accomplishments, that could be a source of a lesson, because you find that in you accomplishing those things that you accomplished, there was a way you were being, there was a mindset with which you approached whatever you were doing that led to you accomplishing that thing. Maybe that's the lesson you want to take away from 2020. So if there's anybody that would like to share, I invite you to unmute your microphone for 1 minute and just share with us. What is 1 big key lesson you are taking away from 2020?
One of my biggest disappointments was the inability to travel. I was starting to plan like a travel business that's related to what I'm doing, where I could take people on retreats all over the world, particularly in Africa. So I particularly regret not being able to do it physically. But the lesson from it is, you know, sometimes we're so one-track minded. You know, this same thing I could have accomplished, you know, by giving people the same experience, but virtually. So it's still doable. You know, so what I'm taking out of it is, you know, open up your mind, explore different ways of doing things, because there's always a way. You know, so the lesson is that there are alternatives, there are options, there are always options. Always.
Thank you. So based on this lesson you have learned, let's make it concrete. If there's one thing you will do differently in 2021, what will it be? 2021, one thing I will do different is be bold. Be bolder, which is take on some of those life things.
Well, because of this pandemic, it has actually restricted people to go out. And in my own case, what I've used it to do is because there couldn't be any classroom, any physical classroom. So I've been able to use that as an opportunity to get exposed to some of the online training. And that has actually given me an opportunity to do some development in terms of leadership and strategy.
So let's look at 2021. So I'll look for 2021. Have you had any time to think about 2021?
I think that if we haven't been deliberate about anything, this is 1 year to be deliberate about your actions. This is not well, this is my thoughts. I don't think it's a year that anything goes. You actually have to be thoughtful. You have to put some thought into it. You have to be deliberate about it, which is why I guess most of us are here today. Are here this afternoon. You know, you have to think about it. You know, think about the things that you do. Think about the words that you speak. Think about how you present yourself. You know, everything matters. We just have to be deliberate. And I think that it is the deliberate ones that will win in 2021. People who go out there and are just strategic about everything they do. Those are the people that will win, because it might be a tough year, but if you're deliberate, you will find the strategy to actually succeed and excel. There are opportunities.
Health-wise, 2021. The vaccine, there'll be a vaccine that will be approved and launched, but it will not get to majority of the people. I was looking at seeing some information by Africa's Center for Disease and Control. Is that Africa will start to get this mainly in H2 of 2021. That's Q3. I think that's what the CDC said, Q2 or Q3. We'll see. Social distancing will continue. Wearing of masks will continue. And people will tend to relax. That's the projection, because now there's a vaccine, or even the thought of a vaccine will make people relax. That's what they're saying. In the area of travel, the projection is that air travel will likely pick up because of the vaccine. So you get things like, if you've got the vaccine certificate, you can travel. In terms of the global economy, it is projected that there could be a third wave, because I think the second wave is currently going on. And this may dampen consumer demand. So the recovery of global economy may be slowed down. Emerging markets like Nigeria, Kenya may actually have high inflation, and the risk of a global financial crisis is still there. When you think of the local economy now, we're thinking countries like Nigeria, countries like Kenya, I will say, which we looked at, economic activity will increase compared to what we have had over the past few months. There's this projected inflation about, you know, it's maybe by first quarter, projection is that it may be moderate.
Coming from the food sector, I know that globally, people have not been in the farm this year. And so strategic reserves of government across the world has really dwindled. As a result, the impact will be felt in 2021. And I keep saying it, we are in for food insecurity next year, which could lead to a lot of things. However, it's good the research, and then so everyone is saying be prepared and optimistic, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
What would you advise people on this that have joined us in this session? What would you advise them to do to start mitigating or minimizing the impact of that food insecurity?
I'll look at it on a personal and a business level. So on a personal level, I think there's so much preparation that you can do. And that's why I said, be as prudent as possible from now, which means save and keep saving, because you will need it as lifeline as you move ahead. Food will get expensive. As long as you can afford it, then that's fine. But then you need to be prudent in as much as possible to be able to get through that period. That's on a personal note. And on the business side, the business economics is not going to change next year. Interest rate is going to get worse from the look of things. Even though we want to be optimistic as a people across the world, the truth is a lot of countries are going to enter into recession next year. I think people are declaring it already. So as a business, being able to collaborate with other businesses in the same industry to survive the entire period it becomes more important than ever when you wanted to go it alone as a business. And again, all of the cut away the fat, and let's just keep to the barest minimum and scale through 2021. I think those are the two advice I'll give from the personal and from the business perspective.
Being in the agri sector, I see what Tayo is saying, and I think it's true. This year, for example, when it comes to rice, there was flooding in some parts of the north, in Kebbi, in Kano, in Zamfara, and the rest. So that affected, output. However, in some other parts of the country, the yield has been good. So when you look at cocoa, cashew, sesame, and the rest. And why do I talk about the crops? They are foreign exchange earners. So if there's anything I would like to do as a business in 2021 is to ensure that I invest in food businesses or agri businesses that can earn me foreign exchange. So we are talking about high inflation. We are talking about foreign direct investment reducing. We're talking about the devaluation of the Naira. If I'm able to export and get foreign exchange, then that helps my business. And I think that's what has helped us as a group this year. So while many organizations were really crying or going out of business, we were making money. And, even from exporting fish, shrimps, prawns, and then you talk about all these commodities, So there's a lot actually in the economy to benefit from. But one typical thing I've seen is Nigerians always complain there's nothing. Foreigners and Nigerians are always saying there are opportunities. It's time for Nigerians to see the opportunities.
I work in the pharma industry. I just want to say that for those of us who probably don't think much about their health, there's a possibility that by next year, the prices of pharmaceuticals and medical items will increase. That possibility is very high. With dwindling resources, it is very important to take good care of your personal health. So if you've not been exercising, this would be a good time to, plan that. If you've not been drinking water, those basic things that, ensures that you have a good quality of your own personal health and life. This is a very good time to start really thinking about it, because the less you fall sick, the richer you will be.
What you need to do is think about, what does this mean for me? Am I one health crisis away from poverty, right? If there's possibly going to be food insecurity, how can I mitigate that against that next year? What are some steps that I can put in place? I like what Tomini has said. Do I start thinking about how I can earn Forex? We're in a global economy right now, and we're all connecting with people in different parts of the world digitally. I'll give an example. In this global pandemic situation that we're in, we've had to Excerpts that was known for being, for in-presence or physical learning experiences. We had to move all our learning experiences virtually, really, 100% since the pandemic, And in this economy, we found the opportunity to work with a client outside of Nigeria, and we earn Forex. So we're going to talk about some scenarios. We just want you to think about, you know what, we don't know what 2021 will bring. Nobody knows what 2021 will bring, because in this time that we're living in, anything can happen. Absolutely anything can come from left field and happen. We don't know. But what we can do is we can plan. And we can plan using what we call scenario analysis. We can plan thinking for ourselves. What is our base case scenario? What is our worst case scenario? What is our best case scenario?
The Wheel of Life exercise is actually a simple exercise that supports our prioritization. So this is it. This is what you get. It enables you to look at the different aspects of life. See, one interesting thing is that all of these aspects, whether it's environment, spirituality, community, family and friends, money, career, growth and learning, your health and fitness, some of these relationships, some of these we have talked about, what you realize is that at any point in time, all of these things do not have the same priority. So when you think about 2021, what we want you to look at, which aspect will you prioritize? Look at it holistically, and then think about which are the areas of priority. So the exercise we were asked to do was this. If you look at those different areas of life, for you to rank, ranking means there is one that is number one, there is one that is number two for you, and is unique to each individual. So in order of importance in 2021, as you can see it, look at all of these aspects of the Wheel of Life and rank. So if you did not do it, I'm going to give you 2 minutes for you to rank. When you look at those 10 areas, I would like you to think about which are your top 3 areas. Which are your top 3 areas out of the 10? And then to go ahead and write 2 goals for those 3 areas. Now, if you have the 6 goals that you have written, we will want to push further with a bit more of prioritization. As you think about 2021, can you select your top 3 goals? So first, look at what we have done. We looked at the Wheel of Life and look at 10 different areas of life. You selected your top 3 areas. Based on that selection, you have set 2 goals for each of the top 3 areas. 2 goals for each of the top 3 areas. So you end up with 6 goals. Now, what I'd like you to do is from those 6 goals, can you select your top 3? So I'm going to assume that we all have our top 3 goals so that we can move on to the next step in the exercise. So look at those 3 goals that you selected and the way you have written them. Now reflect on them. Are the way you have written these goals, are they SMART? SMART speaks to making it specific, and that's about outcome. Are you clear about the outcome? Now that outcome, how are you going to measure it? What is the outcome you want from the goal, and how will you measure the outcome? How will you count? So for example, you want to lose weight. That's the most common, easy example. How many kilos do you intend to lose? Or how many pounds do you intend to lose? Because I want to lose weight isn't that great a goal unless you're sure or you determine how many kilos you want to lose. The A is attainable. It's important that the goal is challenging, but also reasonable to achieve. So don't be unreasonable. Some people say, oh, shoot for the sky, then you shoot for the moon, then you get the sky. Yes, but you also have to look at what are the resources available, what is your track record in that area. So is it attainable? Number 4, the most relevant. How relevant is this goal to you when you think about your happiness? This goal you have set, is it just a nice to have, or is it one of the things that you consider really important? You know, answer the why. T is to make it time bound. It does not have to be December 31st, 2021. There are certain goals you set that you need to achieve within Q1 or maybe by June 15th. What is the time frame within which you need to achieve this goal for it to matter or for it to really, really deliver for you what you. We're going to share with you this simple formula for writing goals, which also helps to make goals smart. It's a very simple but powerful formula. So when you think about your goals, think about the action. The action is, what are you going to do or what do you need to do? For example, increase. Increase what? Your savings, right? Action and the object of the action. What are you going to do to achieve this goal? What are you going to do that thing on? So increase what? Increase savings. So action plus object of the action and then measurement methods. So action plus object of the action plus measurement methods make up a well-written SMART goal.
In this session, we have successfully set goals. We hope that you have successfully set goals and prioritized goals for 2021. Now, we have another session coming up, another webinar, where we teach you how to boost your productivity. So the plans that you have made in this session, in the coming session, that's next Saturday, you'll be able to break those down into actionable goals and then understand how you can fuel yourself or how to keep yourself, sustain your energy to achieve those goals.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. I say thank you to the team that put this together. All of you that have joined us, we appreciate you taking time. This is what we love to do in HC Bonham. Those that have joined us from outside of Nigeria, from all parts of Nigeria, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you. 2021 is right here, 32 days away. You don't have a lot of time. The earlier you start, the better.